hard not to imagine stories of Caribbean pirates, Spanish ships laden with gold, or sun-scalded slaves and prisoners when you first see Dry Tortugas National Park and its iconic Fort Jefferson. If any of these thoughts crossed your mind, they would not be far off from the truth. The Dry Tortugas is a coral island archipelago located about 70 miles off of Key West, Florida, and has a history and lore as colorful as its warm teal waters.
Are we there yet?
We are on the Yankee Freedom Ferry this morning, and we are headed out to Dry Tortugas National Park. Got up at 5 o'clock this morning to drive down here to Key West, and we are headed out into the middle of the ocean. It is going to be an epic adventure day. All right, let's get started.
The Dry Tortugas were discovered in 1513 by the Spanish conquistador Juan Ponce de Leon as he explored the coasts of Florida and its keys. Ponce de Leon named the small archipelago Las Tortugas because of the abundance of sea turtles. The dry portion of the name was later added as a warning to mariners because of the absence of any fresh water on the islands. Over the years, the Tortugas remained uninhabited, but collected hundreds of shipwrecks due to their location on the main route between the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic. The shallow, flat islands proved difficult to navigate, and seasonal hurricanes sunk or wrecked several Spanish galleons, including one notable ship named Nuestra Señora de Atocha that went to the bottom of the shallow sea between Key West and Dry Tortugas with 40 tons of gold, silver, and emeralds. The treasure has since been recovered, but the draw of sunken ships and what they might hold continues to cling to the aura of the islands. However, the real treasures of Dry Tortugas are its pristine waters, coral reefs, and wildlife. The park is about 100 square miles in size and over 99% water.
All right, we made it. Down the gangplank. Fort Jefferson. Can't see you, Ellie. All right, turn around, Matthew.
There's storage.
Look at this place. This is so cool. So cool. So excited to be here.
When you first see Garden Key and the massive Fort Jefferson, you may wonder to yourself, why build a huge military fort so far out at sea? Fort Jefferson is composed of over 16 million bricks and is the largest brick structure in the Americas. The Dry Tortugas were originally of interest as a naval base to help suppress piracy in the Caribbean, but only a lighthouse was initially constructed in the year 1826. It wasn't until many years later that the strategic location of the archipelago, as well as its natural deep-water harbor, were deemed too valuable to leave unprotected. The Dry Tortugas are located in a strategic location for shipping routes between the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic, and it was feared that if a foreign power seized them, it could control navigation and shipping to the Gulf. The U.S. government began work on the fort in 1846, and it laboriously took shape over the next 30 years. Much of the hardest labor of the fort's construction fell to African American slaves that were hired out from Key West owners. With the onset of the Civil War, however, the fort became a prison. President Lincoln sentenced deserters of the Union Army to confinement and hard labor on Dry Tortugas instead of execution. The construction of the fort holds some incredible stories and is definitely worth a read if you're into history. To summarize things, the fort was never completed. Hurricanes, yellow fever outbreaks, and new technology eventually led to its abandonment. It was not until 1935 that President Roosevelt set it apart as a national monument. Dry Tortugas, including Fort Jefferson and all its shipwrecks and history, became a national park in October of 1992.
This place is so cool. We could spend hours just exploring the fort, but I know we really want to get some snorkeling in, so we're doing a quick fort exploration, and we want to get in the water. Oh, this place is amazing. You can camp here on the island, and I wanted to do that so bad, but we don't have any of our camping stuff with us because we've been traveling all over. So we couldn't camp this time, but I definitely want to come back and do a camping trip here because I already know we're not going to have enough time to explore all this. All right, it's time to do some snorkeling. The sea is a little bit rough, so it might not be as good as we hope it'll be, but we'll check it out and see.
Dry Tortugas National Park is known for being one of the best places to snorkel and dive in the Florida Keys. It's located on the southwest edge of the Florida Keys Reef, which is the third largest coral barrier reef in the world. Due to its remote location, you're much more likely to find more and bigger marine life here. If you come by ferry, snorkeling gear is provided as part of your ticket. There are designated snorkeling areas all around Garden Key, with the most accessible being the outer moat wall and the historic coal pier pilings. These pilings are the remains of old Navy coal docks that were destroyed by a hurricane and never rebuilt. The day we went, the seas were unfortunately a bit rough, and the water was pretty silty. To add insult to injury, clouds came and blocked out the sun while we were exploring, making it even harder to see. Despite the less than ideal conditions, we were still able to find some pretty cool wildlife. There were some fish I had never seen before, and definitely lots of bigger fish than we'd seen elsewhere. At one point, I even saw a full-grown barracuda, almost as long as myself. The corals growing all over the old dock remains were especially incredible. It was like being in an alien world. I had never seen so much coral before.
Well, water's a little murky, but still very cool. Seeing a lot of corals and things I've never seen before. Gonna keep exploring, see what we can see. All right, well, got cloudy, so snorkeling is not very good. It's hard to see anything, but we're gonna go explore the fort some more.
Even though the snorkeling the day we went wasn't the best, we wanted to take advantage of every minute we had to explore. When you take the ferry to Dry Tortugas, you'll only have a little over 4 hours on the island, and the time flies by. I'm convinced that the only way to do a Dry Tortugas adventure properly is to camp, and you better believe we'll be returning in the future.
All right, well, we've had a fun day here snorkeling, exploring the fort. Unfortunately, it's over way too soon, and it's time to head back. This is an amazing place. I definitely want to come back here and camp the night and really get a good idea. And can't talk. But anyway, if you like this adventure, give us a thumbs up. And as always, if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you along on our million adventures. Bye.
Are we there yet?